Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of Wrestler Weekly Presents. I'm your host, Scotty Richardson of Wrestler Weekly, and I am so excited about this week's episode. Man, I've got a great special guest for you today. We are in Florida. This is the Territory Talk Championship Wrestling from Florida. Gordon Soley on the mic. I mean, this is a time that, and one I've been really looking forward to. As you know, my story, I say it quite often. I'm sure you get tired of hearing it, but grew up in Mid-Atlantic, Championship Wrestling. 1981, we moved to Jacksonville, Florida. WTLV Channel 12 there in Jacksonville. And my dad, mom, my brother Reggie, we were introduced to Championship Wrestling from Florida. So here's the kind of the format today. We are going to go through a couple grapevines. Now that was it was Championship Wrestling from Florida, as you know, and some of those programs in the 70s. And I do have some of those. We're going to save those for another episode. And it's going to be a special Dusty Rhodes episode. So you do not want to miss that in a couple weeks. But we are going to go through the grapevines. Remember, a couple weeks ago, we were in Georgia and the Ringsider. And then last week, what a great episode with my buddy Mike of Wrestler Weekly. And we talked about international wrestling, IWA. We went down to Mexico with Lucha Libre. We went up to Montreal and that international wrestling in Canada. And then we finished with Japan. This week, we're back in the States, and we are in Florida. So before we get into, and I'm going to kind of go somewhat a little quicker than normal, I'm going to really go through kind of the cover, the back, kind of show you the card that was of that particular night in Florida and where it was at and who was wrestling. And then I'm going to make a phone call to a special guest that's going to join us this week. So, Wrestler Weekly, a lot of things happening for us this year in 2018. It's been a great year so far. What a great month we had in January. Now we are in February, and just things are moving just right down the path. I mean, right down the train. The train is on the track. We are moving fast here at Wrestler Weekly. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Wrestler Weekly, and then obviously here, YouTube, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. We are here. Remember to subscribe and give us a thumbs up, and you will get this and more episodes right in your inbox at 9 p.m. So, without further ado, look who we have here. Grapevine, Ric Flair, Nature Boy Ric Flair. This is signed by the man. Flair still has the belt, but can he what? Keep it. Here is the man, 10 pounds of gold. Let me put my, turn my phone off to get some buzzing going here. All right, so this program is from March 3rd of 1982. This happened in Miami. I'll show you the back here. Miami Beach. And so this is at the Convention Hall in Miami Beach. Let's go ahead and go through the matches with you. We had Terry Allen and Don Diamond versus the Deaton brothers. First match. Now, who was Terry Allen? That's right, Magnum TA to start us off. Special challenge match. El Gran Apollo versus Cyclone Negro. Avalanche Tyler versus Bubba Douglas. Kendo Nagasaki versus Eric Embry in a courtesy main event. Martial arts are allowed. That was a big angle. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. World Junior Heavyweight title match. Les Thornton versus Mr. Wrestling 2. Dory Funk Jr. and David Von Erich in a tag match against Hacksaw Butch Reed and Sweet Brown Sugar. What a tag match that was. And then special 5-minute challenge match. First you have Terry Funk versus Mike Graham in the main event. with a special 5-minute challenge match, Eddie Graham versus Terry Funk. The winner gets to choose the rules of the match for the Terry Funk Mike Graham match. Now remember, Gordon Soley, Barbara Clary, Jerry Briscoe on the mic, and here were all the TV listings, and there was mine, WTLV Channel 12, Jacksonville, Florida. Couple things inside here. Hacksaw handles world champ well. All right, what's next? Look at this one. Grapevine, Ric Flair on the cover with the Crimson Mask. Now, this is a new addition to the Wrestler Weekly collection, so we hope to get the Nature Boy to sign this one. This is from actually May 25th. Put this one back up for you. This one here is from May 25th of 1982 in Tampa at the Fort Hesterly Armory. And listen to these matches. El Gran Apollo versus Hiro Matsuda. First match. Unbelievable. Terry Allen versus Randy Rose. Magnum TA. Vinny Valentino versus Derek Draper. How about this tag match? Jim Garvin and King James Dillon. That's right, JJ. Versus Mr. Wrestling 2 and Barry Windham. How about this match? No referee. Kendo Nagasaki, the Black Ninja, versus Mike Graham. TV title match, David Von Erich versus Sweet Brown Sugar. And bunkhouse match, the main event, bunkhouse match, Dusty Rhodes versus Dory Funk Jr. Unbelievable. Here in Tampa, May 25th of 1982. There's the card. The Grapevine is the program. And we are going to talk to someone right now. We're going to get him on the phone. You know him as B Brian Blair. We're not going to talk Killer Bees today. If you want to do that, my buddy Duke from Duke Loves Wrestling. Go to episode in week 87. And Duke, right before Christmas, right before New Year's, just a month ago, Duke had B Brian Blair on. They talked about the Killer Bees and the gimmick and the whole setup. We're going to talk Brian Blair. We're going to talk to Brian Blair, and we're going to talk about his days in championship wrestling from Florida. So, without further ado, let's get the man on the line and talk some Florida wrestling. There you see, this is Derek Draper on the spot. Brian Blair. Brian Blair, this is Scotty Richardson. You are on Wrestler Weekly Presents. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fabulous, fabulous. Scotty, what's the buzz, guys? Tell me what's going on.
Man, I tell you, I just told our audience here that if they wanted to kind of delve into the Killer Bees and the B Brian Blair, that my good buddy Duke from Duke Loves Wrestling had a great interview with you, but we want to talk to Brian Blair. We want to talk to Championship Wrestling from Florida, Brian Blair. Tell us, Brian, growing up, you grew up in Tampa, Florida. Tell us about that experience, because a lot of wrestlers came from the Tampa area.
They sure did, Scotty. I mean, a host of them. Championship Wrestling from Florida back in the territory days was one of the hottest territories in the country. I mean, I'm sure your fans know what the territories were, you know, from moving up from Florida, Championship Wrestling from Florida, you had Georgia Championship Wrestling, and then you moved into the Carolinas, you had the Crockett promotion on the East Coast, then you went up to WWF, where I also wrestled a couple times before going to the WWF for the WrestleMania 2 era, 34 and 5. But anyway, Championship Wrestling from Florida was so phenomenal. I was such a big fan when I was a kid. I remember turning on to Channel 44 WTOG and watching Gordon Soley interview Jack Briscoe, and then Jack went into the ring. And right then, I was absolutely hooked on wrestling. I could not eat, drink, or sleep without thinking about professional wrestling. And it just became like part of my blood. And I'd always go to the matches because, you know, Tuesday night in Tampa, we didn't have the Buccaneers or the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, or the Lightning, and the Rowdies. We had the University of Tampa football Spartans, where Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff played football.
Right.
And I used to watch him when I was selling sodas to make $1. I was from a broken home, and lived on my own since I was 16, and didn't want to be poor. And wound up going to college, but met the wrestlers, Eddie Graham and Mike Graham. Eddie Graham was the boss of the territory and the primary owner. And they came to amateur wrestling matches. And they came to one of my matches. They had seen me on television before doing an interview with Andy Hardy, because I had so many letters at Tampa Bay Tech High School. And we talked, and they said, hey, if you ever, consider being a professional wrestler, if you're, just stop by 106 North Albany Street. Mumbai. Yeah. And try out. So I started babysitting Buddy Colt. Remember Buddy Colt?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
He'll be at our Legends Lunch coming up on February 23rd, which is amazing. It's our 17th year, I believe. But babysitting the kids, the guys kind of helped me. Dusty's let me babysit his kids. And it's just kind of morphed into, I finally got my first tryout with Hiro Matsuda. Yeah. And went down into that hot dungeon, brother. And we had to do Hindu squats. There was 3 of us there. I forget who the other 2 guys were. They left after the second day. Yeah. And the first day I puked Scotty. I mean, there was nothing left in me after doing all those squats and push-ups, and Hiro would have you do
That's right.
Then amateur wrestling. Normal rounds in amateur wrestling are 2 to 3 minutes, depending on if you're in high school or college. But we wrestled for like 10 minutes straight, so you couldn't go no more to your gas. After doing all those squats, I'd roll out of the ring. First day I rolled out, puked. Second day I rolled out, threw up again. Third day I rolled out of the ring, and I just laid there and kind of lifted my head up, and Matsuda took his foot and lifted my chin, and he said, "What's the matter, Brett? Why you not?" And I said, "Well, Mr. Matsuda, sir," I said, "I haven't eaten since the last time I puked, sir." And I saw him kind of turn his head, and I could see like his chin raising up, so I know he was smiling, because it was hard to get a smile out of him. Oh, yeah. But after that, he kind of loosened up on me, and during the 3 summers that I trained, a lot of people came and went. The only 2 that stayed were Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Hulk Hogan, and of course myself. And that's how I started in championship wrestling from Florida.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny because I just went through a couple programs from 1982, and it's funny because I watched one of your matches. There was a great angle, winter of '82. You're in the ring, and J.J. Dillon, King James Dillon at the time, and Kendo Nakasaki were at the table with Gordon Soley. And James J. Dillon, at the time was talking about how Kendo Nakasaki was not allowed to use his martial arts in championship wrestling from Florida matches. And so you come down and you say, look, I'll take him on right now. And J.J. Dillon says, well, with martial arts? And you said, I don't care if it's martial arts or whatever, let's go. And so the match starts. JJ gets you wrapped into the ropes by the neck, and Eddie Graham comes out and is trying to help you, and then ends up taking an ambulance ride. So
I'll never forget that, Scotty. I will never forget that.
I mean, just some great wrestling in Florida. Here's what's interesting, fans. Brian Blair was a 2-time Florida champion. In the Florida championship title, this is a belt that goes all the way back to the 30s, actually. And this Florida title, think about these 2 guys that Brian defeated. Number 1, he defeats Jimmy Garvin the first time for the Florida title. And then he comes back around, and his second reign, defeats Jesse Barr. Brian, talk about Jim Garvin, Jesse Barr, and the Florida championship title.
Well, Scotty, you hit it right on the head, man. The Florida title meant so much here. That's when you were the Florida champion, you wrestled whoever the world champion was. Right. When that time came, when we had our big show a few times a year. So it was Flair or Funk Jr. or whatever. I was fortunate to be able to, work with these guys and holler Broadways and things you don't see too much anymore, and just learn from some of the best. But Jimmy Garvin was one of the best workers, in the industry. The guy could work his butt off. Yeah. And it was just so much fun to work with him, so much fun. And also, I remember, working with Jesse Barr, who was also a lot of fun to work with. He wasn't quite the worker that Jimmy Garvin was, but Jesse was the kind of guy that, gave everything 110%. I mean, he would reach down and he listened good. I mean, he was just perfect. And Funk Jr. really helped him come along, and they eventually went into the WWF together.
Well, another title you won, Brian, is the Southern title, the NWA Florida version of the Southern title, and you defeated Rick Rude. What a name that is for professional wrestling. But this Southern title, fans, if you didn't know, this is a belt that David Von Erich actually won in 1981 by beating Jack Briscoe. So, I know our fans love David Von Erich just like we do, Brian. Tell us, you had I know this is Florida, we're talking Florida, but just briefly talk about, you did jump over to World Class and you spent some time with David, and obviously you spent some time in Florida. Just tell our fans about David Von Erich.
David was such a good friend. We lived together for a year and a half when I had gotten a divorce from Michael McGurk. A lot of people don't know that. I used to be married to Leroy McGurk's daughter, Michael, for about a year. And we're still good friends. She's a great girl. But after we got divorced, I went straight down because Von Erich used to come into Oklahoma and work for us. And then Fritz had always wanted me to come down and work for them, and I did on a couple shows in Lawton, Oklahoma, and a few places like that for him. And we just became great friends. And living with David, I could tell you more stories, Scotty. I can tell your listeners more stories than they have time to listen to. Just about that year and a half with the Von Erichs, and it was a tremendous time. And David came back to Florida, and we got to work here again before he died in Japan. And he became such a good heel, Scotty. This guy was an amazing heel, just a great worker. So I can't sing David Von Erich's praises enough. And as a matter of fact, I go to Hawaii each year now and see Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a beautiful place in Kauai, about 30 acres there. I mean, it's unbelievable. And, his sons are working now.
Right.
It's great for Kevin and I because I became friends with the whole family. We, Doris and Jack, Fritz Von Erich, and his wife Doris took me in just like one of their own kids. They knew I was brokenhearted, and it was just a warm family, and it's very unfortunate that all the tragedy happened.
Absolutely. Brian, tell us about the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Well, the Cauliflower Alley Club is near and dear to my heart. It's my number one passion. The Cauliflower Alley Club is a 501c3 nonprofit, the only one in professional wrestling that helps all the anybody in the business that made a living in the business if they fall on difficult financial times from either, disease, cancer, things like that, divorces, or they met Bernie Madoff or made bad investments, whatever the case may be, and they fall on hard times. The Cauliflower Alley Club, we give them money. We don't loan them money. As long as we do like a background check to make sure they need it. And we don't help people that are on drugs or anything, but we have an all-volunteer staff. I mean, I pay my own ticket out to Vegas. We've got our upcoming 53rd reunion in Vegas. And, I mean, it's going to be so hot. It'll sell out currently 30 days before the event, which is April 30th through May 2nd. And you can go to Cauliflower Alley Club. That's one word, caulifloweralleyclub.org. And you can check out the whole reunion. We get rooms for like $35 plus a $12 room fee. Or they got it's a tax that they have in Vegas, some kind of room tax that everybody has now, but that's rooms for like $12. Most of them are like 37. So we have a good time. Everything's inexpensive. We have tons of great seminars that Ron Hutchison puts on. We have cribbage tournaments that Bob Orton Jr. has come in second the last 2 years, and he swears he's going to win this year. And we've got a great roster of people. I mean, we've got Baron Von Raschke Mikey winning the Iron Mike Award, the Harlem Heat with the Tag Team Award, Mickey J from who refereed in championship wrestling from Florida.
Right.
Mickey J getting the referee award. You know, we got Greg Valentine getting the same award that I got there when I fell in love with the Cauliflower Alley Club in 2002, the men's wrestling award.
That's awesome.
And we got a tremendous lineup. Santana Garrett, Alexis Smirnoff, Blue Demon Jr. is winning Lucha Libre Award.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole lot of other people that'll be there, and it'll be a great time. But if you go to caulifloweralleyclub.org for $25 a year, you get 4 of the greatest newsletters that you'll never see on the internet, at least firsthand.
Sure.
They come right to your mailbox, and you get a certificate I've got framed on my wall. It's beautiful. For $25, and all the money that we make, like I said, goes to help these wrestlers in need. So if you're a wrestling fan, which you obviously are, you're listening to this show with Scottie Richardson. So please, check out the Cauliflower Alley Club, and you'll be glad you did. And please join us in Vegas this year, because I'm telling you, Scottie, you go to one. The first time I went, I was hooked, totally hooked. I mean, you see, we always sell 650 banquet tickets, and then we're sold out. There'll be 250 wrestlers, and
that's awesome.
Maybe 400 good fans that we call friends.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have a great time. I mean, the wrestlers sit and talk with everybody. I mean, tell stories. You'll hear stories like you're asking me right now.
That's right.
Live and right in person. There's like 6 different bars there, 10 different places to eat at the Gold Coast Hotel and Casino in Vegas, and it's just a blast, guys.
That's awesome.
Inexpensive.
All right, so fans, check that out. You will not be sorry that you did. For a great cause as well, to give back and to help this cause for sure, the Cauliflower Alley Club. So check that out. Before we wrap up here, Brian, I always like to do what's called the Hot Mag, and this is a magazine that's been signed. It's typically recent to the Wrestler Weekly collection, and a couple weeks ago when we did the Georgia Championship Wrestling, we ended the Hot Mag with a Georgia boy in AJ Styles. We're going to go and stay in Florida here, with talking about the Florida area. Here's a guy that was born in Pensacola and lives in Tampa and is a WWE superstar. This is Pro Wrestling Illustrated from April of 16 with signed by Roman Reigns. Brian, we got to get a hot take for a hot mag on Roman Reigns.
All right, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. You get some good stuff there, Scotty. I don't know how you get all that.
We have some insiders that help us, I think. But
I might have to mail you a couple of mine, because I got a whole collection for a couple of years.
Absolutely. I'll text you. You'll have my address as soon as we wrap.
Beautiful. But I'll tell you what, brother. Scotty, I've been from Maine to Spain, and I've been deep down in the Ukraine, and man, we've spread pollen from New York to Holland, and that's how we created the Swarm with Jumpin' Jim the Killer Bee.
That's
and
right.
All of our travels have been awesome, man. We've been from ocean to ocean and coast to coast. We've been north, south, east, and west. But Wrestling Weekly presents with Scottie Richardson is what we're digging the most, because you're the best. Thanks,
buddy. I appreciate everything. We love your career. We love you as a human being, Brian, and stay safe, my friend.
You too, and I love you. Love your audience. I just appreciate being alive, and I thank all the fans that supported us over the years, and I thank you for keeping the tradition alive, Scotty. Keep on buzzing, brother.
Absolutely. And fans, check us out every Wednesday, 9 p.m. YouTube. You can find us across the social media board: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Wrestler Weekly. For now, so long.